Sam Slade, it's time for a new video.
It is, right, Kevin?
Yes, it is.
We're here.
This is the spookiest episode of them all because we watched The Void.
Haven't you ever wished to save someone beyond saving? No matter what the cost. This is uncharted territory. The body has to adjust, of course. We weren't built for this kind of thing. You'd be surprised at the things you find when you go looking. There is something calling them all here.
What if those people get in here? What are we supposed to do?
You saw it? What was that?
The spookiest movie ever made.
And
I watched Father's Day, though.
and there were more spooky things going on involving The Void and with Father's Day.
So we were gonna originally watch Father's Day, if you watched last week's episode, which Sam Slade recommended, but then Kevin came over and really wanted us to watch The Void.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And while we were watching The Void...
And we were like, Kevin really likes The Void
yeah.
a lot,
Yeah.
so we're like,
I
that's
love
perfect for his first week here.
Kevin's here every week.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So while we were watching The Void, we realized that there were a few weird
Cameos?
Similarities. Because me and
little
Alec had just
connected
seen
dots.
Father's Day today, and then we were watching The Void, and we're like, is that the priest guy from Father's Day? Why would he be in this movie? Why would he be in an actual movie?
So yeah, and it turns out that the group of guys that made Father's Day and Manborg and all those other movies that Sam Slade really likes
All those classics.
Yeah.
also made The Void.
Two of them did, yeah. Two of them made
two
The
of the
Void.
6 directors.
Yeah, two of them out of the 6 directors, and like 2 other ones showed up in the movie that are also directors from those movies.
So all of us are fans of John Carpenter. We all love some nice good John Carpenter movies.
Kevin's always talking about John Carpenter.
I love him. And so I watched The Void not too long ago, and I said, "Man, this is like a John Carpenter movie. This is like a John Carpenter fan film." And so
It is.
I came in. I'm like, "Hey guys, we should just watch The Void instead. Fuck Father's Day."
Because I didn't watch it.
Yeah, because I didn't watch it.
Watch The Void instead, motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you guys hadn't seen The Void yet.
No, we haven't.
So
And yeah, I think it's a good pick. I liked it. I liked it way more than I thought it would, because like it has like a 5 on IMDb, and it was something Kevin was really excited for.
yeah, I know I have shit taste. And
I
everything.
think it's this is a rare occurrence for me because it's rare that I'm in the perfect mood for a movie, and then the universe just supplies me with the movie that I'm in a perfect mood for. Like I didn't even know that I was in the mood to watch The Void. But then as I was watching it, I was like, this is what I wanted. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't even know I wanted this, but I did. And now it's great. Like, it's a treat.
Yeah.
Because I went into it, like, I'd heard Kevin talk about it a few months ago, and I called him a loser for wanting to see it.
Yeah, you did.
I did.
Yeah, I remember that.
I was like, I don't think it's gonna be good, because IMDb was like, it sucks.
Well,
so people were like,
it sounds kind of lame. Like if you just hear the premise, which I like, the premise is very vague without any spoilers. To just like it's just like, oh, some people are in a hospital, and then
people are trapped in a hospital and spooky things are happening.
and it's like, oh, and Lovecraftian monsters that are like they make you lose your mind if you see them or whatever. Like that all sounds kind of lame to me. Just because that can be really bad really easily.
I when I see the word Lovecraft in the description for a movie or anything, I just instantly go, it's gonna be shit.
Yes.
I enjoyed reading like the HP Lovecraft little short stories and all that, but anytime I see it as a description, I instantly go, oh, it's just fucking garbage.
It's so easy to not work.
it's hard to like adapt Lovecraft stuff because there's so much like mental, like you just like gotta get an idea of what's happening.
Yeah.
Or it's like, oh, and this character saw this thing, it was so crazy he went insane.
Yeah.
Or it's like you show that in a movie, it's like, why'd that make him insane? You know?
Yeah.
Not like it's something that is difficult and people.
Yeah, and in actual Lovecraft, it wasn't, oh, he's now insane. It's people consider him insane because he's talking about a goddamn alien coming down from the sky and getting into a fist fight with him.
What's interesting is that John Carpenter is actually one of the best people that has ever adapted any Lovecraft work. Kevin, you haven't seen In the Mouth of Madness. But
I have not, but
it is easily his most Lovecraft-inspired work. But anyway, back to The Void.
well, I mean, the thing to tangent again. The thing is pretty directly Lovecraft.
Yeah.
It's pretty
Yeah.
much just a Shoggoth.
Yeah.
I mean, it's set in Antarctica too, so. But yes, back to The Void.
So the movie starts out pretty like slow, and you're like, I don't really know what's going on. They're in a hospital, and then just crap happens. And
Yeah,
you're like,
the movie feels slower paced than it is in the beginning. Like
Yeah.
it's like a song that changes tempo out of nowhere. It starts off like really kind of like atmospheric. You don't really know what's happening. And then it just kicks
and
in
then a bunch
gear
of
and goes at 90
a bunch of
miles per hour,
KKK
right?
members show up, and you're like, I don't know why they're here. I don't want them to be here though.
So the basic premise is initially you see this drug guy running out of a house, and all the other people there got killed by these two guys. So there basically there's a cop who picks up a druggie and takes him to a hospital, and there's two guys who are after the druggie who also meet up at the hospital, and now there's an entire cast there, and they're all trapped there by the creepy KKK.
Yeah, it's very reminiscent of movies like
Assault on Precinct.
Assault on
Yeah, there's a little Assault on Precinct 13 going on.
Yeah.
Or
Prince of Darkness, also a John Carpenter movie.
There's some pretty heavy Prince of Darkness things from.
Yeah.
I've never seen it, but from Sam Slade kept going, "Oh wow, this is just like Prince of Darkness."
If we had
Oh
footage,
wow,
we
this
would
is just
cut
like
to
Prince
Sam
of
Slade
Darkness.
saying this is
Yeah.
just Prince of Darkness.
Not in a bad way. I was just like, oh yeah, this is really similar.
Yeah.
I like Prince of Darkness, so who cares?
Yeah, so it quickly becomes this group of people that is just trying to survive the night in this hospital.
There's backstory between all the characters.
Yeah. More than you think. It also reminded me of another movie that came out more recently that no one has seen called Last Shift. It has a similar vibe to that. Which
is that the one where someone took like a pizza cutter and cut a satanic symbol into their face? Because that's what it looks like, how the person cut it into their face.
Yes, that movie.
What?
That movie is about one girl who is in a police station, and they're about to close the police station down, and she has the last shift, and it's a haunted police station.
Oh.
Well, this also has the hospital. They're shutting it down, so
Yeah.
this is kind of like
Well, that's where
Yeah.
and there's evil cultists in that movie too. So
Oh, man.
the link was stronger there. I think that The Void was much better than the last shift.
than pizza cutter face.
Than
Yeah.
Pizza Cutter Face. Well, the effects are way better. So, Kevin, one of the things that I really liked about this movie is it was done by some of the same guys that made Father's Day, and
Which had
Father's
crazy
Day
effects.
has some wacky effects. And this movie has really good effects. All the blood is goopy, and there's lots of it. The monsters, for the most part, look really good. Like
I love how the monsters look.
Going
Yeah.
back to John Carpenter, a lot of it's practical. Like, there's almost no notable like CGI.
I can't really think of any.
Yeah,
The only CGI I can recall is the epilogue,
yeah.
and that's very noticeable. But other than that, I can't think of any CG.
Yeah.
I'm a nerd for the practical, good looking
Oh yeah.
effects. So it tickled that part of me.
It got right up in there.
It got right up in there. It fingered that bean.
Fingered the bean.
It fingered.
We're growing something tonight.
It's really recent. So if you haven't seen it, it is on Netflix. I highly recommend it. It is.
Yeah, go see it.
It is a solid.
Before we start to spoil everything.
5 pizza cutters out of pizza cutters.
I will give it probably an 8 out of 10. I mean, it's a solid horror movie.
Spoilers. Go see the movie.
Spoilers.
It's a good one. It's on Netflix. It's short.
Yes, it's an hour and a half. It does not feel like an hour and a half.
No, it felt longer in a good way to me. Like, I felt like I was in that movie longer than I was, but not because I was bored, but because I was just like glued to it.
Yeah.
Like,
See, it felt short to me because I'm like, oh wow, we're at the end now.
The
Oh
reason-
man, that just blew through. That was, I got sucked in.
Yeah. The reason it feels longer, I guess, is because so much happens in it.
yeah, there's just like, this is something I noticed around the 15 or 20 minute mark. Every scene is jam packed with something. Once the plot gets going, almost every time the camera cuts to something else happening, there is actually something else happening. There's almost no downtime in the movie. There's a few like scenes where you get a little a breath where it's not like crazy action happening, but in those scenes you're still given important conversations where characters are getting over each other. There's a big kind of clash in the beginning where the two characters that you see killing drug addicts in the beginning come to the hospital, and then they want to kill the final drug addict that they were trying to kill. And the cop is like, no, you can't kill this drug addict.
This is a sacred hospital.
He's just a drug addict. You don't need to kill him. And he's like, no, I've seen hell, and I don't want to go back.
Devil worshiper.
So it's a whole mess of miscommunication in the first half. Like, no one's really talking to each other, so that dynamic of just like paranoia and no one trusts anyone plays a huge factor.
Yeah, and most of the characters don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Even the two characters, the hunt, I'll call them the hunters.
The Ahabs.
Yeah, the Ahabs. Even the Ahabs aren't entirely certain what's going on.
Yeah.
Slightly getting into spoilers, something that was interesting, like with the characters not knowing anything, was like when crazy stuff, like not just crazy, like, oh, they're yelling at each other, like crazy stuff that is supernatural and shouldn't exist.
Like the thing monster coming out.
Like when the monster comes out for the first time, and it's like the nurse lady and all that. They just are like, all right, let's chop it to death. Let's keep hitting it with an axe till it dies.
Well, that's a bit like the first thing that happens supernatural, like Sam Slade was saying, is one of the nurses at the hospital just turns into a monster, like a thing-esque monster.
Well, she also stabs a patient in the eye to death with scissors before getting shot and then turning into the thing.
Yeah.
And then, so I was thinking about this when it was happening, because the cop goes in, they hear screaming, and they run in, and they see the thing monster and the drug addict's like chained to a bed right next to him. And he has to get him off, and I was like, what do you do in that situation? Like he shot it, and it didn't work, and I was like, what do you do? If a gun doesn't work, what do you do? I have no idea. I don't know what I would do there. There's a big old monster right in the corner of the room, and what the fuck do you do in that situation?
Yeah.
And that scene's great because he looks like he's thinking that to himself. He's like, I don't know what to do in this situation. He tries kicking...
Let's close the door.
Dude, and the old cop's just like, after he shoots, it's like, what the fuck do I do now?
Oh, he checks out. He's
like, what the hell's going on?
I'm gonna go home. One of my favorite bits is right after that, after they kill the monster the first time, and like they chop the guy's head off, and the old cop guy dies, and they're like, let's go get that shotgun. That seems great because like they're just running out there, and then like there's nobody out there. Yeah. And then they cut away, and there's one guy by a tree, and you're like, oh, he's really far. It's just one guy, and then there's like 10 of them, and like they just keep appearing, and one appears behind the car.
Yeah,
Great.
It was very Assault on Precinct 13. Like, just the fucking people just appearing and just standing there.
Well, there's that's also in Prince of Darkness.
Okay.
So instead of KKK members, it's homeless people. Great.
I was gonna say
one of them's Alice Cooper.
It's also very reminiscent of Night of the Living Dead, which they have playing on in the beginning. The way, because there's the scene where they're trying to get the gas in the car and there's zombies and everything goes wrong. It's very reminiscent of that. And that scene, I feel like that scene happens in every single one of these types of movies.
Yeah.
But they do it well. It doesn't feel too overdone or like uncreative. Like the way it plays out is very tenseful because there's literally nothing out there at first, and the car's farther away than it was the last time you saw it. So it's very tenseful.
Intense, some might say. If you're not in to the movie by then, by like the point where the monster shows up, everybody's yelling at each other, they axe it to death, and all that, then I mean you might as well turn it off. Like it's just gonna keep being that.
The movie also doesn't disappoint. Like I could easily see that idea kind of falling apart after a little bit because you just don't know how to end something like that.
I was worried about that when they went downstairs. Like it was like they're going downstairs. It's the crazy. It's the void.
Yeah,
they're going downstairs and all the crazy stuff is happening. Like it's like all weird. They're hallucinating and things like that. Yeah. And I was like, I don't know if they know how to end this movie. I don't know how to end this movie. You know, like I don't know how this is gonna turn out. Yeah. But it ends pretty well. It ends like Prince of Darkness.
I think they handle it pretty well because they use that going down into the void to give a little bit more characterization to the characters that go down. You learn more about the two men that were killing the meth addicts in the beginning.
The hunters.
Yeah, you find out that was that it's a father-son type thing, and you find out a little bit more about their backstory. And it's not done in a super ham-fisted or like exposition-filled manner. It's handled very tactfully.
Yeah.
And very quickly. Like it didn't spend too much time on anything like that. The movie did not have it knew how much of your attention span it had.
I almost expected a flashback of what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they didn't do that, and that was great.
Well, and that's something I've always really liked about John Carpenter movies, and one of the things I praise John Carpenter for the most is that he knew how much of his audience attention he had. He knew if I
explain this too much,
they're not going to care.
Yeah.
I'm going to lose them. And this movie carried over that very important aspect of John Carpenter.
like Halloween's great. It has almost no world building, but it has like all the world building it needs in one line. Where they're like, "Was that the boogeyman?" They're like, "Oh yeah, no, that was the boogeyman."
Yeah.
And they don't explain things that don't need to be explained.
Yeah.
What? How did he get these spooky powers? He did.
Yeah.
Why can he do this? Because he can.
has-
Because we need the movie to happen.
Like in the thing, like there's like a bunch there that like you're like, why is this like that or whatever? Like when they get to the ship and they're like, oh, it's cargo. Like they know the thing was not the one piloting the ship. It's like, well then what was piloting the ship? It doesn't matter. We're talking about the thing here, you know. That scene is also great when they go inside the downstairs like void place and like there's the zombie thing or whatever that creature or whatever just banging his head.
Trying to kill itself and he can't die.
Well, like it's like just banging his head into the pipe and like the pipe's going through his head and you just see the pipe coming out the other side. And he's just like, why won't I die?
It's barely stopping on
And then
one
he
chunk
like
of bone.
pulls his head off and he turns over and there's just the camera goes straight through his head and like, oh, he's just been doing that for a while.
He's been doing that for thousands of years.
He's just like, die.
So closing thoughts.
It was nice and spooky.
It's nice and spooky.
It wasn't jump scare spooky. It was spooky.
There was
like-
not a
there's-
single jump scare.
there's
the
one.
entire-
There was jump scare when the doctor shows up behind the nurse.
Right.
Like she's like, oh, where's the stuff? She ducks down and then he's right behind her and he goes,
Yeah, or,
That's not even that bad of a jump scare, though.
that's barely a jump scare, but there's the music jump.
yeah.
And I think there's one where the KKK turns up behind the cop.
Oh, yeah.
And stabs him.
Oh yeah.
So there's a couple.
Another
There's a
connection-
couple, but
another,
they're not
another
important.
connection to Last Shift is every character by the end of it is either dead or part of the cult.
Ooze.
Well, Trauma Girl and Trauma Boy survived
Yeah.
to be traumatized together.
Yeah, that the two most pathetic characters survive. I mean, the guy is fine. He was just a mute, so it sucks that he has to live his life.
He's pathetic. He's a pathetic mute.
I think he actually doesn't know English. And
He's
that's
got
why they didn't
donkey
have him talk.
Kevin, that I would buy that if we found out that he doesn't speak a word of English
He's
or
Danish.
has a super thick accent, then I'd believe it. But no, to live the rest of your life like completely traumatized because he was kidnapped and held at that.
I'm telling you, dude, he's mute, so he has to charades his explanation to people. It's like,
He-
well,
he-
how
he wa-
happened to you? And he's
he
like,
wasn't kidnapped. The cult killed the mom and the baby, and then cut his throat open because he trusted one of the cult members. Because he said the last people he trusted cut his throat open.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
I remember that now. Monster.
And then the Asian girl was just like a loser the entire movie. Like she
was just a bitch.
I can't do it.
What a
I
pussy.
can't perform a C-section.
I could totally do that. You
I
just
can do
cut
that
it open.
easily. I don't care.
I'm a nurse, sir, and I can't stand the thought of blood or anything.
Well, she wasn't even a nurse. She was like a hospital's assistant.
Okay,
she was
she was
pussy about
a
everything.
nurse practitioner or whatever.
But she
She's
still
trying
would
to
see
become a
people
nurse.
all bloody going by her all the time.
Well, yeah.
Okay, I did like how she was freaking out over people dying and like seeing blood.
Yeah,
Because that
that's
felt
fine
like-
because people are getting murdered in front of her. But
Like the dude just walked outside and walked back in with a fucking stab wound.
Yeah.
One of my least favorite parts, and it's not even a bad thing. I didn't hate it, but I like you, Kevin. I think you would agree with this. Just that the last scene is a little unnecessary.
there's like an
The
epilogue.
Yeah.
The
Like it
epilogue should've
ends
been
and then it
cut.
goes to black and then it cuts
and then
to
it's
a new
just
thing.
like, the
the
pyramids.
The epilogue had no purpose being in the movie.
Well, I
It should've
feel like
been
it's
cut.
just trying to give you one last twist, like trying to
One
boggle
more
your mind,
thing.
but it has no real meat behind it. Like it doesn't offer you any information or anything.
Yeah.
Like you
that-
could have imagined that was already in there.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah, I didn't get why it was there. It didn't.
Also,
it
it
didn't
just
impact me.
Like the green screen didn't look great. Like they didn't look like they were actually in that environment. They looked like they were on a green screen.
it's an example of like what we said earlier, where it's like it's Lovecraftian and it doesn't translate to film very
Yeah.
well.
They went into the spook dimension when they died, and it's just like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
they're there. There's
Yeah.
a floating pyramid.
Yeah.
It's spooky. But yeah, good pick, Kevin.
Yeah, Kevin.
you.
It's a good
Thank you.
movie.
We're sorry we made fun of you all those months ago.
That's fine. I'm a pathetic
Kevin-
loser, so
Kevin,
you should.
Kevin, I want you to know that I love you and you're my best friend, and I'm so glad that you recommended this movie.
Yeah.
I am so sorry that I didn't listen to you. I respect you, Kevin.
Thank you, Alec.
Kevin, I hope you're excited to see Father's Day.
I am looking forward
next week
to Old Man Dicks.
When all
everywhere.
3 of us.
Oh, not just old man, young man.
No, okay.
Baby dick.
I know that there's other dicks. I see Old
Pictures
Man Dicks.
of
Oh, you're looking forward to old man.
Pictures of dicks.
Yeah.
Look, if there's one thing that Kevin's love, it's Old Man Dicks. It reminds me of my childhood. Today we are being funded by the concept of being wet.
Brought to you by the letter wet.
No, it's not a letter, it's a concept. You fucking moron.
Brought to you by the letter wet.
They're gonna stop giving us money if we don't advertise them properly.
I don't know how to advertise wet.